Hello and a very warm welcome to Bharata First. You're watching FRP Explains. I'm Rausan Pereira. The focus once again is on whether Wuhan virus was natural or man-made. There are discussions all around the world talking about this particular aspect. And that is what I'm going to talk about today, talking about three or four examples. The US Senate has been hearing a particular matter concerning this issue, and US Senator Rand Paul has questioned Anthony Fauci, the advisor to the US President with regards to COVID-19. He is also the director of the USNIA ID, which is the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Rand Paul, the senator of Kentucky, has questioned Anthony Fauci about whether NIAID sponsored a research in Wuhan Institute of Virology, and the research in question is GOF, gain of function. So what is this gain of function research? Basically, it is a research in which you research about viruses and about microorganisms and ensure that you can pass it through from category A to into human beings and see how the transmissibility works and what kind of an impact and what kind of an effect that it has on human beings. It is done in a controlled atmosphere. But the Wuhan Virology Institute has been questioned about how safe the environment was and how safe was it for scientists to work there, and whether a jump happened into human beings intentionally or unintentionally. There are many people around the world, virologists, biologists, and experts, who believe that this is not natural, but the jump has happened in the lab itself. Several whistleblowers within China too have spoken about it, and China has been very tight-lipped about it, giving out very less information. Coming back to the Senate hearing now. So Fauci was questioned by the senator about the funding into the Wuhan Virology Institute, and he categorically said that the NIAID did not have any kind of role to play with GOF research, and all this is a lie. So he went on to question him further and dig further when Fauci eventually admitted that NIAID funded or gave funding to a non-profit in New York, which eventually funded the Wuhan Virology Institute, where the lab in which it is said the virus was produced. The research has been going on not from now, from 2015 is what an Australian news outlet has reported, and several other news outlets in Australia have picked it up from there and have reported on it extensively as well. 2015 onwards, China has been preparing these viruses, especially working with coronaviruses in particular, after the SARS and MERS, and preparing itself for a third world war, and it would be biological warfare, is what the Australian media has reported. The president of Brazil has gone on to suggest that this is biological warfare and nothing less, and China's role must be questioned. Coming back to Fauci now, when he was questioned further a third time by the senator and asked whether he can categorically state whether the virus was natural or whether it was man-made, he said categorically, Anthony Fauci at the Senate hearing said that he cannot either accept it nor deny it because he doesn't know what the Chinese have been up to, but he also called for a thorough investigation into the matter. So there is no smoke without fire. And this particular journalist called Nicholas Wade has written a 10,000 word article as well in a science journal, which categorically talks about and breaks down how this is really natural and how this is unnatural, and how the transfer has happened in the lab itself. He is quoting virologists, he is quoting biologists, and where this particular research is coming from and why they believe so. There's a detailed article that he has written, and he has spoken about gain of function. He has spoken about how there have been certain characteristics that have been changed of the virus itself to make it more potent and more lethal towards human beings. Of course, he has stopped short of suggesting that this could be done intentionally. That the jury is still not out on whether it is intentional or unintentional, but the calls now are growing once again from around the world to investigate further into the origin of the Wuhan virus. And if it is indeed man-made, then China needs to be pulled up, and we need to be really worried and concerned about what this can do. Millions of lives have been affected as a result of this virus. We've seen how India has been suffering as well. Talking about India, the world a few months ago was very iffy and jittery, and made a hue and cry about why we should not call this the Wuhan virus. It should not be given a particular name, but they are very freely talking about the Indian variant today. Why is it so? Why don't those same principles apply to us as well? Just call it by its biological name and be done with it. So that's why I continue to call it Wuhan virus, because that is where it originated. It is very clear that it originated from there, and that's what we need to call it. If we can call it the Indian variant, we can very well call it the Wuhan virus as well. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of FRP Explains. If you like the content, please hit the bell icon, subscribe and like the video. Do click on all notifications as well so that you don't miss out on any of our content. For those of you who would like to come forward and contribute to keep this content alive, you may do so by using our UPI IDs. A small contribution that you make will go a long way in helping us bring you this content. That's it from me. See you again next time.